Shirou was at the kitchen countertop, minding his own business as he was cleaning the dishes. As he was washing the dishes, he then noticed a certain person coming into the cafeteria. That person was Sieg, the bearer of Siegfried's heart, and the master of the Rider of Black in the Greater Grail War. "Hey there Shirou," Sieg said.
"Oh.
"Hey there Sieg. Do you want something?" Shirou asked as Sieg got closer to one of the tables and sat down.
"Yeah, but it seems that you're busy with something actually."
"I'll wait if you like."
"No.
I don't mind. I can hear your problems while I'm working if you want," Shirou replied as he placed a wet plate down the dryer.
"So, do you have any problems in Chaldea right now?"
"Well, I'm not sure if you would call this a problem, but hear me out."
"What is it?"
Sieg took a deep sigh before continuing the conversation. "I want you to teach me how to cook." Shirou was a little shocked for a moment before he continued washing the dishes. "You want to learn how to cook?"
"Yeah."
"Why?"
"Well, it's quite simple actually.
You see, I've been recently reading a few of Chaldea's magazines, and some of those magazines said that one way to show appreciation to the person that you love is to prepare something for her that she will enjoy eating. And plus, I feel like repaying her for all the help she gave me."
"Is that so?"
"Yeah," Sieg said with a smile as he remembered his first meeting with her and the many times she helped him and taught him many things. "She was one of the many people that turned me into what I am right now. If it hadn't been for her, my life would have turned out differently in a bad way." Shirou let out a chuckle. "Sounds like you cherish her, don't you?"
"You can say that again. Anyways, can you help me?"
Shirou gave Sieg's question some thought. After a few seconds, he gave him his reply.
"Sure.
Next week, I'll give you a lesson on cooking."
"Okay?"
"Yes." "Where and when are we going to do it though?" Sieg asked. "How about next week?"
"Right here."
"Make sure to bring some cooking utensils, just in case." "Okay. Thanks Shirou," Sieg said as he prepared himself to leave the cafeteria. "No problem Sieg." A week has passed since Shirou promised Sieg that he would teach him how to cook, and today was the day that Sieg was going to have his first cooking lesson with Shirou. And Sieg was excited a bit. Right now, Sieg was walking down the hallway, minding his own business with a smile on his face as he was holding a bunch of cooking utensils in his hands. However, as he was in his own world, minding his own business, it was then he bumped into a certain servant, dropping his cooking utensils in the process. Gawain, one of the Knights of the Round, and the Knight of the Sun.
"Oh.
Sorry. It seems that I wasn't aware of my surroundings," Sieg apologized. "Apologies accepted. Rather, it was I that was not aware of my surroundings." "What is your name?" Gawain asked. Sieg. "My name is Sieg," Sieg greeted. "I see. Nice to meet you Sieg." "My name is Gawain, Knight of the Round, and the Knight of the Sun," Gawain greeted. "A Knight of the Round, that means you know Mordred, don't you?"
"Yes."
"Is she causing you any trouble right now?"
"No."
"Anyways, nice to meet you too Gawain." Gawain let out a smile as he noticed the cooking tools that were on the ground.
"Ah.
Let me help you pick up those materials."
"No, it's okay.
I can pick them up," Sieg said as he dropped down to pick the cooking utensils up. "I see, those cooking utensils. Are you heading towards the kitchen right now?"
"Yeah.
I'm heading towards the kitchen to receive cooking lessons from Shirou." Gawain was surprised a bit. "You're receiving lessons from Queen Shirou too?" he asked. Sieg was shocked to hear Gawain's sentence, especially at the last two words. "You too had cooking lessons from Shirou before?" Gawain let out a smile. "Yes. Thanks to Queen Shirou's cooking lessons, my king and her counterparts enjoyed my mashed potatoes for once. I am so grateful to him because of that event, he said happily. I see, there is one question I want to ask you. Sure. What is it? Well, for starters, why did you call Shirou, Queen Shirou? The answer is quite simple. You see, he is my king and her counterpart's consort, which puts him on the highest regards. Furthermore, because of Mordred's suggestion of Shirou being the new queen, we started calling him that ever since. I see. Anyways, I got to go now. See you, Gawain. Yeah. See you too, Sieg. As so, Sieg and Gawain went on their separate ways. Sieg continued to walk down the hallway, heading towards the cafeteria where Shirou is. I didn't know that Shirou had experience teaching someone how to cook before. And from what I heard from Mordred, Gawain's mashed potatoes were awful. Just how good Shirou's cooking is? As Sieg was walking down the hallway, it was then he came across his worst enemy. Amakusa Shirou Tokasada. Ah, great. Just my luck. He thought while groaning on the inside. Oh. I didn't expect to see you here, Amakusa Shirou Tokasada said. Sieg let out a sigh. What do you want, Amakusa Shirou Tokasada? He asked in annoyance. Nothing. I'm just wandering around here. In fact, I should be asking the same thing about you. Just are you doing with those cooking utensils over there? Amakusa Shirou asked as he noticed the cooking utensils Sieg was carrying. It's none of your business, Sieg denied. Is that so? Amakusa Shirou asked. Yeah. Now if you'll excuse me, I've got somewhere to be right now, Sieg said as he quickly left, leaving Amakusa Shirou behind. Those cooking utensils he was holding earlier, and the direction of the hallway he was going in, that direction leads to the cafeteria. And Shirou was in the cafeteria earlier. After a few seconds of thinking, Amakusa Shirou realized why Sieg was in a hurry. He's having cooking lessons with Shirou. Well then, this could be interesting. Shirou was in the cafeteria behind the countertop, waiting for Sieg to arrive. After a few more minutes of waiting, Sieg arrived with cooking utensils in his hands. You're here, Sieg, he said with a smile on his face. Yeah. Sorry if I was late, Shirou. I ran into a few people along the way, Sieg said as he went over to where Shirou was. Anyways, I came prepared today. You sure did. Shirou said as he looked at the amount of cooking utensils he brought over. Anyways, what are we going to cook today, Shirou? Well, before we can start to cook, we need to wash our hands first, so we don't contaminate the food. Shirou and Sieg then went over to the sink and began to wash their hands. Alright, now that we're done washing our hands, I figured we'll start with a simple dish first. I see. What kind of dish are we going to start out first? Shirou was silent for a moment before saying his answer. French onion soup. Sieg was surprised for a bit. French onion soup? Yeah. Why? You had that before? Yeah. I had it once when I was alive, Sieg said with a smile as he remembered his date with Jeanne d'Arc. I see. Anyways, let's get out the ingredients for the recipe, Shirou said as he went into the fridge. After a few minutes, he came out carrying butter, a few onions, white wine, chicken stock, and beef stock. Sieg, can you help me get some salt, pepper, and flour? Sure. Sieg then went over to the counter to find the salt, pepper, and flour. As he did, he then placed it where Shirou brought over his part of the ingredients needed to make the French onion soup. So, what do we do first? Well, first, we need to put our pots over a medium flame and melt the butter, Shirou said as he heated up a pot and placed some butter in there. Sieg then did the same thing as Shirou did. Okay. Now what? Then we wash up the onions, and then chop them into thin slices, Shirou said as he brought out a knife. He then began to cut up the onions into thin slices, which Sieg then followed. Like this? Sieg asked as he was cutting his onion. Yeah. Like that. Now that we are done cutting up the onions, we then add them to the pot and cook them, stirring them until they are golden for 25 minutes. Afterwards, we add in the flour and cook for about 1 minute until they are no longer raw. Sieg was surprised with how long making a simple dish such as French onion soup would take. Wow! It takes that long? He asked as he was looking at his own pot. Shirou let out a chuckle. Hey, cooking takes time and effort to prepare a good dish, no matter how hard or easy it is. Shirou and Sieg then stirred the cut-up onions in their pots until they were golden brown. Afterwards, they added the flour and stirred that for 1 minute. Okay. Now we season it with salt and pepper and add in the white wine. Let it simmer until the wine evaporates. Sieg was confused with Shirou's words. Evaporate? I mean when the liquid disappears. Oh. I see. Soon, Shirou and Sieg waited for the wine to evaporate. Okay, now that the wine has evaporated, add in the chicken, beef broth, thyme, and bring it to a boil, he said as he poured in the chicken broth, beef broth, and thyme into the pot, making Sieg do the same thing. After it comes to a boil, lower the heat to a medium flame and let it cook for 15 minutes. Once that has done, season it with salt and pepper and remove the thyme. Sieg was confused again. Boil? Season? Shirou let out a small sigh. Boil means when the liquid starts to produce bubbles. Season means you add a tiny bit of salt, pepper, or spices and sprinkle it on top. I see. Thank you, Shirou. No problem. Anyways, all we need to do is to wait. Shirou and Sieg then waited for their pots of soup to boil. Eventually, they came to a boil, and Shirou and Sieg reduced the heat and let it cook for 15 minutes. After the 15 minutes has passed, Shirou and Sieg then seasoned their pots and removed the thyme. Alright, now, for the taste test. Shirou and Sieg then brought out some spoons and did a taste test of their pots. Not bad. How's your Sieg? It tastes good. Should we do a taste test of each other's pots? Sieg said. Sure. Shirou and Sieg then switched positions and were at each other's pots. Shirou then tasted Sieg's soup while Sieg tasted Shirou's soup. Well? Sieg asked, hoping that his first time cooking went well. Shirou let out a smile. It's great, Sieg. Your first time making French onion soup went well. Sieg let out a sigh of relief. Phew. For a second, I thought I was going to screw up or it was going to taste bad. Shirou let out a chuckle. Relax. If you follow the instructions to the recipe, the dish will always end up good, he said as he placed one of his hands on his shoulder. Is that so? Yeah. By the way, can I ask you something? Sure. What is it? Well, was it necessary to make this much soup? I mean, I know that I want to make my own, but what are we going to do with all of this soup? Shirou chuckled again. Oh, don't worry. I have a feeling we're going to need all of this soon. As such, a bunch of people came into the cafeteria immediately, and Sieg immediately knew what Shirou was talking about. It was lunchtime right now. Jeanne d'Arc was in a forest, gathering wood for the campfire she, her altered counterpart, Sieg, and Ritsuko were making. Right now, she and her altered counterpart oversaw gathering firewood while Sieg oversaw making tonight's meal. Alright. I think that I have enough wood right now. Time to go back to Master, she thought as she headed back to the campfire. As she did, he saw her altered counterpart, Sieg, and Ritsuka at the campfire. "You got the wood, Jean?" Ritsuka asked. "Yeah, master." Jean replied with a smile on her face. "All right. Now put it over the fire." Sieg said he's making the food today, which is French onion soup. Jean was a little surprised upon hearing those words. Sieg-kun is making dinner? That's new. And French onion soup? Soon, Sieg was done with what he was making, and then poured the French onion soup onto the bowls. "Here you go. Hope all of you enjoy it." Soon, Ritsuka, Jean Dark, and her altered counterpart took a sip of the French onion soup. As they did, Jean's and Ritsuka's faces were in delight. "Wow! This is great, Sieg-kun," Jean said happily. "Yeah. This is pretty good, Sieg," Ritsuka said with a smile on his face. Thanks," Sieg replied. Jean then turned to her altered counterpart. "Well, how is it, my little sister?" she asked. Jean Dark Alter grumbled. "Well, it's not bad at least," she said as she was taking another sip. Jean let out a sigh. "Hey, Sieg-kun, since when did you know how to cook?" "HM? Oh, I learned how to cook from Shirou," Sieg replied. At that moment, Jean Alter quickly changed her mood. "Really? Shirou taught you how to cook?" she suddenly asked. "Why, yeah. Why?" "Oh. Well, no reason. I just want to know how you were suddenly able how to cook. That's all," she quickly said before returned to her bowl. Both Ritsuka and Sieg were confused, and Jean let out a small smile. "Anyways, thanks for the meal, Sieg-kun." "Yeah. No problem," Sieg replied with a smile on his face. And the group of four continued eating peacefully. Omake. Shirou was in the cafeteria, cleaning up the dishes from the daily lunch hour. However, as he was washing the dishes, a certain person came into the cafeteria. That person was Jean Dark Alter. For a moment, she didn't say anything until she got up to the countertop. "Hey Shirou." "HM? What is it, Jean Dark Alter?" Shirou asked. "That French onion soup you taught Sieg to make, I want some of that again." Sorry, but lunch is already over. And I'm already dash. Now, she demanded. Not wanting to make her mad even further, Shirou began to make the French onion soup again. As he was done making it, Jean Alter tasted it, and to Shirou's surprise, wanted more helpings. When Arturia Alter found out, she was not happy. Shirou was walking down the hallway, minding his own business. As he did, he saw a few servants coming towards him. However, they had a few things in common. All of them were male servants, and they were all single. Can I help all of you?" Shirou asked as they stopped in front of him. In an instant, they yelled out one thing upon seeing Shirou behind the kitchen. "Emiya Shirou. Please teach us how to cook," they all yelled in unison. Shirou was baffled. "What?